7 o'clock. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Roundtable. I guess we're square table or whatever table you're sitting on this morning. I'm having some computer issues, so I'm switching technologies this morning. So pardon my background. I want to open the floor up to anybody that might have anything to bring to the group or want to discuss.
I'd just like to say, hey, everybody, I'm Mark McCutcheon. I work with Charlie. So my first time on this meeting. So I'm just saying, what's up?
I was actually gonna ask when I had a chance. I'm curious to know where everybody's at, what state you're in, what city you're in, and if you're busier, slower, how's business doing? Is it up? Is it down? Is it flat? Or are you just kind of getting started? We want to go around. I have, let's see here. On my right on the video, I have Charles up there first. I'm just kind of curious.
So you want to know how busy we are? Is that what you're asking me?
Just how it's going. What city are you in, and how's business? Is it up? Is it down?
Yeah, we're higher than what we were last year, and we've increased for about the last 4 years. We're about 4 days booked out right now, which is good. So yeah, I'm actually pretty happy, and it looks like things are still moving forward. We're located in Chicago.
Okay, yeah.
I live in the north suburbs of Chicago, not in the horrible neighborhood that Rob Klaus came from. So
yeah.
And thank you everyone for giggling at that. I do like Rob and known him for a long time. So
very cool. Okay,
so I can
Charles. Good. I didn't catch who that was, but go ahead.
It's Jim Meadows. I'm out of Cleveland, Ohio. Been a home inspector. I let my license go for home inspections, and I just got done getting everything rearranged and rebranded for commercial. So I'm starting to get out advertising and everything else like that. And I actually just got done passing my FAA test for the drone to help in doing the commercial work. But other than homes, I have no idea other than going around and knocking on all of the associations' doors on how to get out there. So that's why I hired a lady because I'm not much on the internet type advertising. So she's going to turn around, and she's been working on getting some stuff out there and getting it on all the different feeds.
Yeah. Okay. So just getting rolling in it. Maybe we can talk about that in the second half here. Cool. Okay. Thanks. Eddie, I got you on my next one. How you doing, and how's business going for you?
Good morning. I just got lucky. A buddy of mine is talking me into getting into inspections, and he does home inspections.
Okay.
My forte is commercial. I'm a project manager by trade, and finding jobs is pretty tough right now. I'm in Utah.
Okay.
I just want to see everybody's face when they say that I'm in Utah, because I know this is probably crazy for you guys. So what's that?
I've heard, commercial and business and overall economy there is up with a lot of people moving there.
Oh yeah. So we've increased 90,000 people a year for the past 3 years.
Wow.
And the city's getting full to the point where I don't know if you know the geography of Utah, or specifically Salt Lake is where I am.
Yeah.
But we just built a new prison on the north side of town, the very north side. But where the old prison is, there's going to be apartments. And I'm looking for something new. I kind of want to get out of the project management game because it's so hard and political to stay in and to get back into it. So we're going to try the inspection side. This is new. I'm changing my career path. basically. And for me, it's one of those things where I would rather fail on my own than fail under the hands of someone else.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
I'm just interested in seeing what's going on, how to come about it, looking into it. So that's where I am.
It is very rewarding. I think a lot of us have probably come more transitioning from home inspector exclusively into commercial, but it's a very rewarding job. Have you made your way through some of the courses, the online courses of CCPIA?
Nothing. So I was looking
Okay.
into it yesterday, and I'm reading the website trying to figure out how to get certified in it. Now, my background is commercial construction as far as project management, but I also take care of a lot of residential properties for other people here in Utah and in my neighborhood. So I'm very familiar with construction.
Yeah.
But like I said, it was transitioning from one thing to another. And I just happened to be looking at the website to see what I need to do as far as getting into this. And I saw the table talk meeting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's tomorrow. I'm up.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything.
Well,
let's look into it, and
it's they've done a great job, CCPIA. They it's really all there for the most part. What's needed to get rolling in this stuff and in structuring your business, and of course the technical knowledge. I actually just took the fire door class over the weekend.
okay.
And added a bunch of that stuff to our templates that we use to write reports. But yeah, and Eddie, it's also, it seems to me that coming into this industry at this time, it's good timing because it's across the country. Commercial property transactions are probably at their lowest point since 08, 2010.
Okay.
So it's as it starts picking back up and getting to a normal level of transactions, busier. It's a good time to get in and get started. But I'm thanks, Eddie. And we'll probably be seeing you on more of these calls.
I hope so. I like I said, I've been in the project management business since 2005. And like I said, my background is commercial. So this transition's new. It's scary. It's very scary. And it interests me more than anything else does, transitioning in this late in my life.
There's a lot of it that just is project management. In fact, if you listen to Nick Gromyko has a few discussions on this, that some people opt to run their commercial business more like project management, which is subbing everything out. And I don't know if Nick's sort of joking when he's saying this, but that he runs commercial inspections without leaving his office.
Nice.
So you're just bringing in specialists and pulling together a report from that. So something to think about if you could dig up and find some of Nick is the founder of Internachi and CCPIA.
Okay.
Dig up some of his content, but that would be a way of going about it. Cool. Well, let's see if we can move through here the rest, and then maybe we'll pick some kind of technical topic to talk about towards the end here. Hope Rob's okay. Sean, you're next on my row here. How's it going with you? Are you busy?
Residential end very busy, commercial slow. I'm in the Pocono Mountains, Pennsylvania, so there's not too much commercial around here. I recently retired from working in New York City, where I was a head super project manager for a general contractor, overseeing building high rises out of the ground and renovating the existing hotels. And the 2-hour daily commute, I don't miss it.
Yeah.
But as I said, the residential is very busy. Commercial is. I only started there about a year ago with commercial.
Okay.
But I'm looking into getting contact with a person that runs 64 urgent care centers. And if I can get my foot in the door with them and it'll be a good move, and they'll eventually contact his competitors. And I think urgent care centers, you're in and out in a few hours, and it's nice
Yeah.
profit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are good ones. Okay. Thank you, Sean. Cool. Sorry, I got a barking dog in the background here. Billy, you're next on my row here. How's it going with you? Where are you at, and how's business?
Hey, good morning. I'm in Maryville, Tennessee. I run volunteer commercial property inspections. I just got started in the commercial side back in, I think it was April. I just recently came from Boulder, Colorado, and took Lance's cost to cure class, which came along, which helped out a lot, which added a lot more, allowed me to add a lot more things to the commercial side as far as when you talk ancillary, when you look at cost to cure.
Yeah.
For that piece. So, but it's again, I just kind of getting started in it. Got some good leads going into it. Got some good people I'm talking with. One of the questions, if I do want to throw out there, is insurance requirements. If someone has a take on that, is what I have the current minimum what Elite MGA will provide you based on your state, but what is truly as a commercial real estate should you carry for commercial insurance? What should you carry? If someone has any thoughts or ideas on that, I'd be interested in hearing that.
As far as I know, Elite MGA's covering commercial. There are a few limitations depending on which company you're with, but when it comes to like a restaurant, obviously the cooking equipment and fire suppression equipment and all that, there's exclusions there. But I would say that E&O and general liability is probably what most of us have outside of auto insurance. But as far as I know, Rob's a little more expert on this subject, but as far as I know, you're good to go if you have the Elite MGA. Does anyone else have? Go ahead, Billy. Sorry.
I was just going to add to that. What I should have mentioned to say with that is my coverage is 250. I think it's 250 and 500. The coverages that you have, that is, I don't know if that's the minimum or whatever it is. What current coverages do maybe you have? Do you carry that your current coverage? You carry $1 million, $2 million? What was a good standard to look at as far as the amount of coverage that you carry?
Yeah, well, I guess some of that would come down to what type of properties you're doing and the size of your company. We at one point had 20 inspectors, and so we're doing a high volume of inspections. So our policy is a little bit different. And then I think there's occasions too where you might have a rider or in addition to it that is a one-off per property. So say, Billy, you have sort of a more minimum policy, and then 1 month all of a sudden you've got this big job that comes through. You can reach out to them and do just a one-off on that to get coverage there. But I would say maybe scaling that up as the business grows. But maybe Rob can touch on that a little bit more if he has a better understanding of it. But I'm not sure. My company, the real estate inspection company, I've forgotten. We might be at $1 million, something like that. The coverage, I haven't looked at that in a while.
I know Google Ads changed their requirements to be able to do local ads, and it's no more 350. You have to have 500 and 500 across the board at a minimum just to be able to do local ads. So that was one of the issues that I ran into. So I just went with a regular Google ads program versus local.
And some of it too, I mean, it's going to depend on what market you're in and again, the types of properties you're doing. In Southern California, the commercial buildings are going for quite a bit. So having a little bit higher coverage and of course, state by state, it's a little more difficult to operate a small business in Southern California, more liability than some other states. So that's going to depend on what state you're in too. But
Great.
Cool. Well, let's keep rolling through, and then we'll jump onto some maybe an technical topic or something like that. Let's see, Jim, I think you went, and then Brad, you're next on my list here. How's it going with you? How's business? where you at?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Brad here. I'm a sole proprietor doing business as Home Guard Inspections out of Salt Lake City, Utah. Uh, may be hard to believe, but I'm brothers with Eddie.
Yeah, nice.
I
Nice.
don't know if Eddie's still on here or not, but yeah, there he is.
I think they call that a brother from another mother.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, I've been doing home inspections for about 10 years, started doing commercial inspections about 7 years ago. I've done now about 350 commercial inspections.
Nice.
And business is kind of hit and miss on the commercial side. It's a little hit and miss on the residential. And between the two, we're having a good year, up over last year. And so happy about that. I'm kind of at a point where I'd like to take my commercial business to the next level.
So
And
you've seen an increase year over year in your business revenue.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty good, because there's a lot out there that can't say that right now. And I believe from last year to this year, something like 30%, at least on the home inspection side, have left the industry. I heard that number earlier in the year, so that's really cool to hear, Brad. What can you think of a one or two things maybe that you would attribute that to, at least on the commercial side, if you're busier with commercial, something you've done there to boost that?
Yeah. Well, I got into commercial inspections kind of the back way from, I think, how most people would. I was doing home inspections, of course, as I said, and happened to do an inspection of a buyer that worked for a national engineering firm, and he was a local rep, and they were looking for people to help with their property condition assessments as a field observer. And so I was a subcontractor for a couple different companies for a year or two doing property condition assessments, and kind of thought over that year or two that I could do, what I was doing for them at a Main Street market level, and do it more efficiently, add more value, and more profitably. And so that's kind of how I got into it. And so there's a little bit of a home court advantage as far as I've been doing it a little bit longer, maybe than some. But I'll tell you, to answer your question, Jamie, is about, I guess we're going on 3 years with kind of the new market as it is.
Yeah.
And I, like everyone else, experienced the floor falling out on us, and I just happened to have doubled down on the right things. I doubled down on my SEO marketing and website, particularly with commercial inspections, and doubled down with my direct marketing to real estate agents, and doubled down on the development of my website. And one of the few times in my life that my efforts really paid off, at least one for one, and been real grateful.
Very nice. Wow. Well, thank you for all that, Brad. That's awesome. That's very cool. Getting in, doing the PCAs for an engineering firm, and then switching over. Yeah, it seems we sort of keep hearing over and over, at least on these calls, and advice from others in the commercial space, that the website and SEO, how big that is. And I don't know if you've been doing the pay-per-click Google stuff, that sort of ties into driving more people to the website, of course. And it seems to be that in the commercial space, as compared to home inspections and residential, it's a little bit more driven by that, as compared to realtors in the home inspection space. Some companies will say 90 to 95% of their business comes from realtors, and in commercial, it's not so much. I don't know if we have a number on that, but driven more by the client or connections out there in whether you're connecting with insurances or engineering firms or property management people. So a little bit different. And most people nowadays, when they're looking for something like that, you know, they're finding you on the phone or the computer. And I think 86-88% of that is Google search. So nothing new, of course, but it's just a little bit different, than home inspections, where you're relying disproportionately on that realtor's referral. You know what? Maybe we can circle back to this, Brad, too. I'd like to hear, since you were doing the PCAs for an engineering firm, the big differences you see between what we're doing at CCPIA and PCA. But let me run through everyone else real quick, just to get a check-in with everybody, and then we'll circle back. David, you're next on my list here. How's it going with you? How's business, and where are you at?
I'm gonna assume I'm the David you're talking about sitting in my car.
Sorry. Yes.
No, you're good. Business, I joke and say I realistically got started in the home inspection space a year ago. I used to rehab houses and had businesses beforehand, and absolutely love it. My business took off after the InterNACHI convention last year, and I realized I didn't know what I didn't know as an independent operator. And Austin and Preston and a handful of people took me under their wing and said, do this, this, this. And it's been great so far. I always knew I was going to get into the commercial space probably a year later. And I'm in that mindset now of and literally talking to Rob when I was at the convention. It's like, this I want to do. And I met a gentleman from, I want to say, Oklahoma, and I forget his name, but he wore a cowboy hat.
Lance.
And that's probably who it was. He wore a cowboy hat the entire convention. And so, yes, I want to get in this space. And like Eddie, I saw the thing yesterday going, hey, there's a roundtable talk. I'm like, it's time to get on it. And now I'm over here going, I didn't know CCPIA had a website where I could do the training like I did InterNACHI at the house. I was looking at going somewhere because I'm more of a visual learner.
Yeah.
Going somewhere to do it. And I was trying to look at it over this winter to go to a class to do that. I'm such a visual learner.
Yeah.
Once every like 3 months, I ride with one of the most reputable HVAC companies. And I apologize. I'm in Northwest Atlanta. So I'm in Georgia.
Okay. Yeah.
For my continued education, I ride with HVAC techs that are reputable, that have been doing it 20 years, electricians, so I can get other ways to learn stuff. So visuals for me. So I'm looking forward to a class this fall that I can go to.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, guys, if you haven't made it through all of the online courses that CCPIA has, work through them, you know, go chip away at them one by one. And even if it's in the evening or on the weekend, on the day off, something like that.
Is that just on their website?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So it's worth it. It's worth it. And really, as I said a minute ago, they've really laid out most of what you need to know to do this. And it's pretty incredible. And the courses seem to be very focused on a lot of the content being what you need to know, and a little less filler, I suppose. But over the last 2 years, those courses really have helped my company and myself out big time to take our commercial inspections to the next level. So let's see here. Let's keep rolling through. I got Charles next up on my screen here. How's it going for you? How's business? Where are you at?
Is there another Charles? I thought I already bloviated.
Yeah,
oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
You chimed in earlier, and you got someone else's.
Oh, Mark's using
screen.
my name
yeah,
on there?
Yeah, go ahead.
I
Go ahead.
guess so. I didn't even notice that. Hold on.
Yeah, no, that was me. I gave him my link. He didn't register. You can kick him out. Nobody likes him.
I snuck in.
I don't have the controls. I wonder.
Rob, and just to give you a heads up, Rob isn't coming back. His wife did get into an accident, and he's running to take care of her right now. So,
oh boy. Okay.
Yeah, and it sounds like she's going to be okay, but he'll let me know in a little bit.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep going for another half hour or so, and we'll just have to cut off the recording when he gets back.
It'll be a long one. That's for sure.
But yeah, let's keep rolling. Just a check in and how everyone's business is doing and where you're at. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, so the same applies for me as for Charlie. We've got a good amount of guys going right now. Year over year, we're definitely doing a lot more than we did last year. That's good. We haven't done so much on the commercial stuff yet, but we're looking to expand into that area.
Cool. Okay. Thank you.
I just landed a 39,000 square foot job.
There you go.
Hey. Very cool. Kevin, you're next on my list here. Looks like you're driving. Are you able to jump in here?
No, I just stopped. You're good.
Oh, cool.
I'm in a meeting, getting ready to go to a meeting.
Okay, cool. How's business?
So Colorado Springs, I'm just south of Robb. Dead in the water right now. Springs is a super high hail area. So with the rates coming down, and then houses sitting on the market for a while, so the prices are coming down. But I had this month alone, I've had 3 deals get canceled, not because they couldn't afford the house, is because their insurance would have put them over the top and they couldn't afford the house with the insurance. That's the biggest issue we're having here.
Right.
Yeah. So that's just kind of realtors across the board. I've been having meeting after meeting after meeting, and realtors aren't moving right now. They've got listings galore, but nobody's buying. We're hoping to see a quick turn because we've got 4 military bases here in town, and it is moving season. So hopefully we can get some stuff rolling here pretty quick. As far as the commercial goes, I've had 2 deals that came to the table, and I gave them what myself, Rob, and you all consider very reasonable pricing. We're not cheap. It's like we're not cheap, but if our prices are fair and have value behind them. But they went with like the lowest price guy, which doesn't always mean you're going to get the right. Because I called one of the realtors back. It's like, just curious on where you went with. Yeah. And she's like, yeah, no, my clients decided to go with somebody else. It's a 20,000 square foot building. And I think I quoted them right around 2,000 for everything. And they went with a commercial, with a home inspector that does commercial, and they only charge them $750. So they got a home inspector commercial inspection.
Now, industrial warehouse office, what type of
combo warehouse office?
Okay, and so like 3/4 of it was warehouse in the back, and quarter of it was
it actually was half and half.
Okay. So flat roof, RTUs on the roof.
Yep.
Okay.
It would have been about 10 or so electrical panels. Yeah. So I quoted them what would have been reasonable pricing, and they wanted a sewer scope too. So I on commercial only, I outsource my sewer scopes because sometimes Jamie, these things can run 300-400 feet.
Yeah. Now, so was there cost to cure, opinions of cost?
Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah, because and that wasn't. I'm guessing the home inspector that did it for 7 and change probably wasn't doing that part.
No. Yeah, and when I gave him the quote, I put in there, I broke it down, saying this is going to be, they were going to have an electrician come in and help me out because, like I said, we're looking at 480s, and we don't touch 480s. So I have an electrician that helps me with the big commercial panels. So they're going to sub this one out for that one. I'm going to do the whole inspection. I'm going to sub out for the sewer scope. Plus, you guys are getting in cost to cure. I laid it all out, and they were like, "Oh, 2,000. That's way too much money." It's like you're paying 1.2 million for the building.
Yeah.
Did you give them more than one option?
What's that?
Do you give them more than one option? In other words, this is what I'm going to do. It's $2,000. Or do you give them, I'll do this for 500, this for 1,000? Do you give them more?
No, I quoted out for everything they asked for.
And that's something that I do, is give them multiple options. And sometimes they take the most expensive one, you know, and we're gonna be there for 3 or 4 grand. Sometimes they just want like the roofing, electric, and the water heaters done.
Yeah.
You know, and we tell them we're not gonna drop any dead fronts from the 3-phase panels, but we'll do all the 125 250s, you know, we'll do those. But yeah, it's different, and I think that that's one thing that was a big bonus, was giving options. So I try to go 3 different levels. So
Okay.
Kevin, were you able to gain any other insight as to, this other company that they went with, differences between your services and theirs? And
Oh,
was there any,
100%. Yeah, it's like, and I was gonna bring up talking to Eddie, bring up to Eddie. 100%. It's all CCPIA because I was in that first class that Rob put on. I went on with the hands-on tour at the bar, and I took the cost secure classes. So all those like elevated me to being a better commercial inspector.
Yeah.
And Rob and I have talked about this a lot, and he knows that I am probably one of two in the city that actually do that. And Colorado Springs is literally twice the size of Denver as far as square miles go.
Right.
But yeah, there's only two of us in the city that actually do it. So it's very beneficial. The hands-on classes are amazing. They teach you so much more. Again, it just elevates you. So when I price it out as knowledge and value. And luckily, I had lunch with a commercial agent yesterday, and he was super excited to keep using me. And I have a lunch with the top commercial real estate agent tomorrow, who I've worked with before. So he's gonna try and help me market within the city as well. So I got some prospects, but yeah, it's getting clients to understand value over price.
Hey,
what is
Kevin.
your value? I'm curious.
I'm sorry.
What's your value?
What's my value? My value is knowledge, experience, and like I said, I know one other guy does a cost secure, and that's value because it gives you what you're moving in with, and then it gives you, your cost for the next 2 to 5 years on what it's going to be to be in the building.
Yeah, it's in the. I'm going to criticize you a little bit. I mean, that doesn't mean much to buyers. I guess the real question is, what's the value to them? What do you have that proves that knowledge? What do you have that will, say that you do stuff that other people? How do you list that out and get that point across in 30 seconds?
10 years as a firefighter says I've got way more knowledge than most of the guys.
Yeah, and I got that. 37 years in the fire department. Okay, it's bullshit. All right, I'm telling you right now that doesn't.
What do you think is most important to them in the commercial space?
The most important. Everybody should be your.
When I walk into it, when I tell them, I was like, I don't care about the wall. I don't care about the stain on the carpet. I'm looking at it different. We're looking at the 5 things. We're looking at roof, plumbing, electrical, exterior, foundation. Those are the main things I'm worried about. I'm not worried about, I'm not looking at it as I got to take 1,000 pictures in this building. I only need to take like 200 or 300 to get what you guys need.
Right.
And there's the problem right there.
Charles, what do you see, Charles, as what is important to them? So you're on the phone. They're shopping 3 companies. You got 30 seconds, and they're done. What do you see as the difference for them?
The biggest thing that I try to do is listen to them and find out what they want. It's not up to me to tell them what they want or what they need. All right. It's up for me to find out what they want and be able to provide that product. All right. It's not, I think that's the biggest problem in our whole industry, both home inspection or commercial, is always going to be, we're going to tell you what you need. We're going to tell you what to do. Nobody wants that. This is the United States of America. They want to make their own choice and they want to have options. Now, when it comes to reputation, that's the biggest thing I would be focusing on. And everything about getting reviews and everything else, that's what makes you more desirable. So when somebody and have all this stuff pre-written, all right, like, one of the things they have on the website is the emails, the proposals. Don't use the same thing that they give you. Take it, change it, make it you. All right. Make it a bunch of options. You were talking about the cost to cure. Give that as an option to people, not as the mandatory thing. Why? And for me, it's like, if I don't sell the cost to cure, but now I gotta lose the entire inspection, that's like jumping off a cliff just to feel the breeze on your face. It's not a smart move.
So this is I think an important layer to understand with this is that this is why the interview is critical. And it might be a little bit different than having a call center and home inspections. A realtor recommended your company to a buyer buying a home. They call in, hey, my realtor said she uses you guys and let's book it. That's a different thing than doing research on a property, doing an interview, and explaining. So I think the difference in telling them what they need and listening to them, some of this comes down to the client's experience. So if you're talking to a portfolio buyer on commercial versus a young couple that's going to run a hair salon, it's their first time doing this. So there is a huge difference there. So a portfolio client, there's some third party calling, hey man, I just need a PCA on this warehouse over here. They've been through this a million times. They know what a PCA is. That's exactly what they need. Versus young couple buying the hair salon, that's a house that's been converted to commercial. They don't even know what that is or what they need. So the interview, you're unpacking that, and it's different there. But really,
no, I do all that.
Yeah.
No, that's crucial. With the one that I lost, I never even got to talk to the client. The agent was stepping forward the whole time and was taking over. I never even got to talk to the client. That was one of the key losses on that one. I never got to talk to the client. Guys, what do you want? What are you doing with the building? What are your because like we said, it could be a giant warehouse and the next person comes in and they just want nothing but offices. They turn a warehouse into offices. That changes everything on how I look at the building too. Of course I do an interview. Of course I ask them what they want, because then that changes the way I'm looking at the building.
Yeah.
Of course that's an aspect of everything I do.
Go ahead, Eddie.
Kevin, I just got a quick question. What part of town are you typically looking at when you do your inspections?
I don't get to look at a part of town. I'm a one-man show, so I'm Pueblo, Springs, and Denver.
Okay, no, well, what part of Springs? Because I know I grew up there.
Mm-hmm. I'm in the north end.
Oh, okay. Because I'm just thinking about the demographics. I went to school down in Pueblo. I lived there a number of years, and I grew up in the south end of Colorado Springs. And I know the mindset between the south end of the Springs and the north side of the Springs are totally different. Absolutely different. The same with even going out to Peyton, Falcon, Black Forest versus Briargate and all that. So I'm just wondering if that wasn't a slight issue to me, because even growing up down there, I know when I was growing up there was a big difference between Army and Air Force, right? And there's a dividing line in the city with the two. And I'm just wondering, I'm just trying to fill you out on, because I get what you're saying, and especially Pueblo. You get out in Pueblo, and that's a whole nother world.
Eddie, I think to be fair, what Kevin's describing, okay, the building that he outlined, he's at 2,000. The other companies, competitors are at 700. This is nationwide.
Gotcha.
It's not unique to Colorado Springs or anything like that. This is universal across the country. So you're gonna have a lot of that happening, and you're gonna have a percentage of clientele out there that will just go with the bottom dollar person, and this is the same in home inspection and all that stuff.
Okay.
So you're going to convert a certain percentage of these people that are just price shopping and just want the lowest dollar, and especially the ones that the realtor is controlling it. So there's less of that in commercial. But Kevin, when I think he had said that you didn't get to talk to the client. I'm finding that there's a much higher percentage of not landing the job when there's a realtor involved that's sort of controlling the situation. And so it's crazy how many too, the realtors are the first one to reach out, and it's like pulling teeth to get the client's name, phone number, and email.
Gotcha.
Up front, like, well, we just want to quote, we just want to know how much. Well,
gotcha.
Okay, I got to do a little bit of research. I need to have a conversation, an interview with the client. So I've struggled with that a little bit myself in requiring or demanding that versus, you know what, let me just have a conversation with the realtor and I'll generate a proposal. It's tough, right? Because you're trying to take on new business and all this stuff. But what I'm getting to is I think that if possible, it does seem as though you're going to have a higher chance of closing the deal if upfront we can get the email and phone number of the client and help them understand what it is that we do and the value of what we do and the difference between what we do and other companies. I will say this too. It seems that there's a lot of occasions like this where the realtor's trying to control it and you don't have the client info. I've heard again and again the distinction of why they ended up going with us was the proposal. Now, if you've not had a chance to have an interview and a conversation with the actual client and you've only briefly talked to the realtor, that means the first thing that the client's seeing of you is that proposal that you've sent to the realtor, and then the client's seeing it. So it's especially critical to have a great proposal. There's content on this on CCPIA. Rob and Lance, actually, Lance, I believe in the cost of care class, touches on this a little bit. If you've not taken the cost of care class, Rob is very Lance is very generous in sharing his proposal and how he does it. But sort of going off on a tangent there, but if you don't have a refined and a nice proposal, spend some time on that, and that's going to make it a little bit easier. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, as someone that's not quite in the space yet, but I've got 20 years of selling and own my own business, I love hearing everybody's thought process on it. First of all, there's always going to be someone that comes in less cost, less price. So I would not lose second sleep over that, because no matter what happens, there's always going to be those people out there. Secondarily, with the proposal, does anybody include kind of a personal cover sheet of you and your business within your proposal, saying, hey, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is what I'm about, almost a mission statement to your proposal. And again, I'm not in your space, so this is my mindset. My mission statement to what I'm going to do, but don't lose sleep over losing one of those because of price. It's going to happen. And then to the original Charles, that cost of cure as an add-on price to help kind of negotiate between that low price. If you come in, and I don't know what the cost of cure is, if it's $500, $700, but if you're, $400, $500, $600, $700 off their price, but now you've got that add-on as a value add, that might have been something that would have been a difference maker.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you guys a little cheat sheet if that'll save you some time. Get a hold of Lance, Focus Building Inspections. He's out of Oklahoma. He serves the surrounding area. Look up his website. You'll see the proposal is on his website. Not saying to copy it, but there is a lot of information there. And if that part of your commercial business is not figured out yet, it's a must. It's a game changer. You have to have a nice proposal. Rob also has created a lot of content and helped me out with that as well. But yes, having a bio, company information about us, all of that stuff, you're looking at a like 8 to 10 page document. And I would recommend highly having that document in something beyond a Word software, something like that. Get it into something that, like a Canva. There's different I think Lance, myself, use Canva. And what's going to happen is you're going to create this whole thing. 80 to 90% of it is created, and you're just adjusting what the details in there for each one that you're bidding and sending out. So in other words, you can send this nice sort of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 page proposal in 5 minutes, 10 minutes to each client as you're cranking them out. But it's the difference maker, being that, connecting back to where we started on this, you're not always going to get a chance to have a conversation with the client. And I've heard again and again and again, when I do get to talk to the client and the realtor, you know, about why they selected us, I've heard many times over the last year or so that it was the proposal. That in fact, just yesterday, I was on a call with a big job, is $33,000 job, and this was government work that tribal, and they put out a request for proposal, RFP, and we won it over some other companies. But that was said yesterday in the meeting that ultimately there it is, Focus Building Inspections in the chat. They said, yeah, that's we picked you because of the proposal, right? And that proposal that went to those people was not that different than the proposal that goes to all the other jobs. It's just a little bit of editing in Canva and send it out. So anyway, highly important there. And check out Lance. Listen, if you haven't done the cost to cure class with Lance, sign up for that, because he gets into a lot more than just cost to cure, opinions of cost, all things running the business. It is definitely worth your time if you're thinking about it to go take that class. And Lance is very generous with sharing his knowledge and wisdom and where he's at with commercial. So go ahead, Charles. Did you?
I was just gonna, go back to the real estate agent and who is your client. And one of the things that I've always argued about in our profession is that 80% of the referrals to inspectors do come from the real estate agent community. That's not a number to ignore. Just because I chose to market direct to consumer, but I'm in a populated area, so 20% of 7 million is still a pretty big number. All right, so we go that route. But the people that are successful in this business, and if you take a lot of those classes, they actually make it pretty clear that the real estate agent is your client, not the person who pays you, and that's the person you're supposed to be catering to. Now, I don't agree with that. Let me just get my disclaimer out there. But the secret to success in real estate is building a relationship of trust with your client. And any real estate agent that can do that is going to have that trust, and they're going to be empowered with decision-making ability. So if we're on the same wavelength and we're a good fit, that real estate agent, because I know the service that we want to provide, then we're going to be a match and we're going to be a good team for that client. If I can't provide, or won't, let me rephrase that, won't provide the service that they want, then I'm not a good fit. And the goal is to make the phone ring enough so that when I do lose a job because I'm not a good fit, I could just shrug my shoulders because it's going to ring in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And we'll get that one.
Yeah. Well, Charles, what percentage of your business is home inspection? What percentage is commercial?
Right now, we're probably 95.5 home
Okay.
inspection.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people in this are the same thing. So it's important to bear in mind that you have to separate the two, and you have to not think of, not sure what happened there.
One person left.
Screen totally shifted on me. You have to separate it in your mind. This is not home inspection. It is different. It's totally different thing, different animal, and you have to kick the mindset of home inspector. You have to kick that with your pricing.
The specific items, I would agree with you. The pricing, your process, everything else, I get it. But it's still, the 3 words are always going to be, why choose me? Why hire me? That part is the same in both.
Here's another thing that's different, that's important, is that commercial, as your business is growing, and what you're doing is not as driven by realtors. And so we've spent some time today talking about that. And it's so important to home inspectors, but it's not not as much of your business is going to come from realtor referrals in the commercial space. Talk to Lance.
You know why that is, though?
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Please.
Because it's taken me a while to shake the home inspector mindset, and I hear so many people that are trying to get into commercial and can't seem to shake that. Well, first off, a lot of the commercial that you're going to do is the building's not being bought or sold.
Right.
It may be a lease. It may be it's a lease that's expiring, and the building owner's actually hiring you to check it out before they let the tenant out of the lease. It may be maintenance. It may be there's all these other things that there's not even a realtor involved. You may be doing churches, you may be doing schools, and the list goes on and on. So it's not that realtors are not involved. It's just that it's not so disproportionate that 80-90+% is coming from that buyer's agent referral, right? And so I think that Lance has cited something like 50% of his work, and he's quite busy, is not it's not even a real estate transaction, and it's outside of that. So we could do a whole another meeting on that, but it's important to understand it that way. And that ties back into what we talked about in the beginning of this call, is that when it comes to how you're getting more business, your sales and your marketing and all that stuff, the growth of your business, you got to shake some of the home inspector mindset, because it is not all about just bringing coffee and donuts to realtors' offices, and that's how you're going to grow commercial.
And that's not what I said. I guess you need to clarify, shake what part of the home inspector mindset. We can't make such a vague statement like that. It doesn't mean anything. Give me some specifics.
Oh, yeah. So in closing this out, what I've gained,
I didn't know you wanted to go.
What I've gained in being in this 20 years and running a large business, managing a large business, and then focusing on commercial, is it's different. And thinking of being a home inspector, running a home inspection business, and just doing things the same, it's not that way in commercial. So as I've outlined, you're going to get business from different areas that's not a realtor referral, and commercial is much more driven by that. So in other words, when the phone rings on a lot of business, hello, this is ABC Commercial Property Inspections. Okay, you're going to be talking to client-driven or portfolio-based clients that there's some executive on the other end who's a third party that is representing the client and all that stuff. Whereas home inspection, a lot of the calls is the realtor calling on behalf of the client, or the client got hey, my realtor said to call. So that's all I'm trying to show is a distinction. I wish we had a little pie chart or something like that, but is that there's a big difference there, and some of your efforts in boosting your business and getting the phone to ring more might look a little bit different than home inspection.
So again, your view of home inspection is different than my view of home inspections. 80% of our business comes from internet web searches, and that's enough to keep, I think we're at 12 or 13 people now. That's enough to keep everybody busy and stuff like that. And just because we're trying to expand into commercial, we still go direct to that route. But that doesn't mean we don't have good, healthy relationships with some real estate agents. The only difference between me and most other home inspectors is I don't want to conform to what other real estate agents want. I would rather be able to clearly articulate what it is that we're going to provide. And if somebody wants it, then we're a fit. If they don't, I'd rather not work with them. And that's worked well for us. And it's also working in the commercial, but I go on that route to circumvent the real estate agents. And and I was prejudiced against real estate agents. I thought every single one of them was the devil, but that's not true. They're great human beings that do that profession. All right. There's a lot that annoy me too. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's fun. Yeah, I mean I suppose there can be a little bit different of a vibe with realtors who do commercial and realtors that do residential. Of course, there's the ones that do both. But anyway,
there's good and bad in everybody. That's what I'm trying to say.
So
knowing who you are and what you do is the key, so you can convey that.
Yeah. Well, listen, sorry, I've got dog barking again here. We're coming down to the end here. We just got a minute or two left. I'm not sure we got to everybody there, but is there anyone who hasn't had a chance to talk yet that maybe had a question or something to close us out? Got looks like a couple dropped off. I'm not sure if I think everyone had a chance to speak, but any parting shots or final questions before we close out? Charles, you got one?
I just
Good.
like to say thank you so much, guys. This was absolutely so informative. I'm over here with my iPad. I keep fidgeting going, I just need to sign up and start doing this online like I did the Internachi thing during the slow time to build up. I'm like, sorry, Jamie, I'm going to start looking up your LinkedIn so I can get your contact information so I can reach out.
Sure.
Talk to Lance. And I'm coming to the convention in October, where Austin and I are going to go get there Wednesday and do drinking around the world. But I want to meet all you guys.
So there's on the website too, there's coaching. I'm forgetting what they're calling it. I haven't signed up yet, but there's a couple of coaches. I think Dylan out of Arizona, Lance, maybe one or two others. There's sort of a coaching deal on there, and
I signed up for the dinner.
Okay, cool.
And I got Frank out of Minnesota.
Cool.
That I met him on the train last year. We've been talking every other month. He's going to sign up for it. So yeah, we'll be there for those.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I look forward to seeing y'all next month. I guess this meeting is just going to keep on running in the background. I'll hang on for another minute or two if anyone had any other questions or parting shots, but it looks like Rob is not back yet to close it out. But anyway, good seeing you guys. Jump off if you got
Thanks,
around.
guys.
I'll hang on for another minute here because I can't close the meeting out.
So I got a couple questions for you.
Yeah.
While you're hanging on for your life on that side of wherever you're at. So my biggest problem was with the home inspection part was during the COVID, a lot of companies came in and just started buying. There was one company came in and bought a 20-mile swatch of the east side of Cleveland. Every piece of house that was up for sale or company, they just came in with cash money and bought all those properties.
Yeah.
That started a trend up here where home inspections were completely everybody's like, no, I can't do it. So I would go to do, people were asking me to do walkthroughs with them. And then suddenly the state of Ohio said you're not allowed to do walkthroughs. You had to do a report. I was getting paid for the walkthroughs, and I was giving them receipts and short reports, but they wanted full reports. So they said you needed to start doing a full report. For instance, we started looking at a house in Lakewood that started out at $20,000 or $200,000. It was a 3-story. By the time we walked through all the mechanicals and got upstairs to look at the 3rd floor, got to the sidewalk, it had already gone up to $290,000. And the guy bought it on the sidewalk, and they threw $90,000 in on everybody trying to buy this piece of property.
Right. Okay.
Like my mom's house, piece of shit. Just put it plainly. Evaluated. It was $51,000. Within 3 days, it went for 94. And
Right.
that's
Right.
how the properties are going. So I went, I love commercial work. I've been 20 years in a factory and I've got all this background in safety and everything else like that. And I was the guy that helped bring in welding machines and equipment and everything else and get it running. So I went, I know commercial quite well. So I went, I'm going to be a commercial. So now I'm at the point I'm rebranded. I've got everything going now. And all I can figure out is I'm in two different chambers. Every time I talk to somebody, I get their card. I'm adding it to this program that's a CRM program.
Good.
And
Yeah.
it tells me, well, yeah, I met this person here and this thing that's COVVE code. So it tells me who I've met and when I've met them. And for some odd reason, my screen disappeared. There it is. So I've got all those connections, and the only thing that I know of is just going directly to realtors that do commercial, because there's really not that many people that are commercial realtors or commercial inspectors in this area.
Yeah. Yeah. It's ripe for the picking. I think that as Rob has mentioned many times, this industry is young. In fact, CCPIA has only been around since I believe 2016, and there are a lot of people in the commercial space that have never heard of having the services that we do. If they did, it was a PCA, and I'm hearing from a lot of realtors out here that maybe their majority of their clients don't even have the building checked out when they buy it. So depending on what market you're in across the country, as others said on the call here, you may not have heavy competition in your area. And so what's nice about that, as far as SEO and pay-per-click, Google ads and all this stuff, if you have less competition in your area and less people, the cost for those pay-per-click ads is going to be less and less. So if your market's not flooded with competition, so it should be a little bit easier to gain market share. If you have less people in your area doing it, and there's also in commercial, people have to understand that the person that might call and hire you isn't necessarily living in your market. Okay, they're in another state, they're in another city. Their portfolio, clients that have buildings across the country and or they're a management company and all. So it might come from not the realtor at the office down the road, but it could be some executive working for a company in another state that's representing the client here. And so anyway, but yeah, it's all very fun and exciting, and it does take a little while to get all the pieces together in the beginning. But I would say absorb as much as you can from CCPIA. Okay, they have articles, endless articles on specific marketing, sales topics.
Right.
Website stuff.
It's all down in all the lessons that they have going. Yeah.
Absorb all that and put all that into place. I mean, that's really there's so much there. Just using and absorbing the CCPA stuff that Rob and others have put together, and it goes a long way.
Yeah, and I was in Jersey last year, and my main focus was I went there as the InterNACHI home inspector, but I just happened to walk by the first day that they did a commercial class, and I was enthused with how much it's not easier, but how much more of a better focus you have. Because I've been to home inspections where it's supposed to be me and the seller or the buyer. And in Cleveland, it got to the point where the housing was so bad, there's 30, 40 people all at the same appointment because everybody was trying to jam space in there. So I walk in with, home inspector on the back of my shirt, and everybody's following me around like I'm the Pied Piper.
Yeah.
So that was kind of, and I just went, if I do a commercial thing, it's a whole bunch of different, I don't know why my screen just disappeared again. It's back. But in commercial, you're not going to have 30 people rolling up to look at what you're looking at. So that
Yeah.
part, I like that part.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, I got to jump off here because I gotta go make a drive and go to a 18 unit apartment complex.
Okay.
Commercial job here, but nice talking with you this morning. Rob, hope your wife's okay.
Yeah, he hasn't come back. Hopefully she's good.
Yeah, so I'm going to jump off, and so Rob has host control, so the meeting's just going to keep rolling. But anyway, I'll see you on the next one, and good luck out there. And
all right, have a good one.
Okay,
Thanks, David.
bye-bye. See you, David.